everyone. It's nice to see some old faces again. Thanks for being here. Hi, Jade. How are you going? It's good to see you. Thanks, Alex. Good to see that you were able to jump on, and Catherine and Glennis. Hopefully a few others can jump on. Nice early start here. So thanks for being here for day two. Today we're talking about beliefs. How's everyone enjoying the challenge so far? Did everyone manage to catch the first day?
Yep. It's good.
Okay, awesome, cool. Any aha moments for anyone? Any insights, any shares? We'll just start the day with that. Or any questions? Questions are good as well.
I think for me, I'll go first on it. I think for me, it was, I watched the video and it was good. I think it was understanding for the first time, actually having a look at all those things or those questions. You normally ask yourself what's your values, whatever, but actually asking yourself all those questions.
Yeah, that's a really great point that you bring up. And I had a question last night, late last night, come through from Narelle, who's not on at the moment, but I'm sure she'll be watching the replay. And she was like, the first time people do those questions, by the way, and particularly if you're on the replay watching, or if you're doing this for the very first time, I vividly remember the first time I was presented with those questions and I'm going, what? Like, what do I think about? I have no idea. Like, what do I spend I mean, spending money is a bit easier because you just mentally go through your bank statement. But yeah, working out what I spent my time on and my energy was a real eye-opener for me. And I think the first time I filled out those questions, I struggled massively. So if you're somebody that's doing this for the first time and you are struggling, first of all, know that you're in really good company. But second of all, that's a real light bulb moment, I think, as to, okay, well, maybe I'm not as, self-aware as what I thought I was in this particular area. And it's not a criticism, it's just merely an observation that's an area that's worth doing a bit of work on. The other thing as well with the question that came through, I know Narelle's not on at the moment, but she was like, oh, I've done heaps of work on my character traits and all the rest of it. Character traits are great. It's part of self-awareness, knowing where your strengths are. But for the purpose of the next 5 days, the values is what we're going to be honing in on, because the values are the areas of your life that you will prioritize, and you will do it absolutely unconsciously. Okay, you won't even know that you're doing it. You'll be, we're constantly, without that greater level of self-awareness, when we're just in that asleep mode, we're kind of unconsciously manipulating the environment to fulfill our values in any given moment. Does that make sense to everyone? And we don't even know that we're doing it. Well, sometimes we have an awareness. Okay, so and if you've ever been around a small child, they're great because they know exactly what their values are in any given moment, and they will do whatever it takes to get what they want. Like, for example, we had someone drop around some cookies the other day, and my 2-year-old, like, man, what she will do to get that chocolate chip cookie, she knows exactly what she wants and how to get it. And she just watch her try all different angles. So it's it starts early. It really does. We actually do know what we want in any given moment. So thanks for that insight, Alex. That reminded me and prompted me to answer Narelle's question as well. Any other insights? What about those that had done this before? Did anything different land for you? Was there any other aha moments? No. Okay. All right. Well, no questions, no aha moments. We're going to move right along. Okay. So just a quick recap for those that, for whatever reason, weren't able to make yesterday. Here we've got the board here. I've rearranged my office. I haven't given myself much space for this board here. Okay, so in the middle we have our mind, where our mind has full awareness of everything that's going on around us. Okay, but our consciousness can only be aware of around 40 bits of information per second. You can, those numbers are, I don't know how accurate 40 bits. Some scientists say that it's more like 100 bits, but whatever. It's a certain amount of information. So our mind has awareness of everything. Our consciousness has awareness of one side, okay, at any given time. Okay. When we are infatuated with something, when something supports our values, we start to label it good, and our mind gets more and more polarized, okay, until we start to see something as having heaps of benefits and not very many drawbacks. Okay, that's when we're really, that's where the term blindsided comes from. We get blindsided because we can only see one side, generally the upside in that scenario. And on the flip side, when we're polarized the other way, we only see the drawbacks. We don't see the big picture. We don't see that maybe this so-called crisis actually has some blessings in it. Anybody experienced that? Something that they thought was so awful at the time and was actually was going to be the worst thing, and life couldn't go on. Ended up, after a bit of time went by, ended up being, oh, that actually wasn't so bad. Has anyone had that experience? Where you've been through a crisis, maybe you've lost a job, or lost some money, lost a partner, whatever it was, and then afterwards gone, actually, there was some good things that came from that. Has anyone had that? Yeah, okay. That's basically what's going on here. Now, the good news is that you don't have to wait years or decades for you to have those pearls of wisdom drop into your consciousness. You can actually do this in a matter of moments, okay? And we will be covering that much deeper on day 4, when I'm going to give you some amazing questions that you can ask yourself to start balancing out your psychology so that you can see the big picture, rather than just be focused on either the upside or the downside. Because, by the way, when you're in it, it's really easy to get locked in it. Very, very easy. It takes great skill not to pull yourself out of that, but can be done once you know what you're doing. Okay. So that's what our mind is doing there. Our mind is essentially just following our value system. Okay. We are infatuated by that which supports our values, and we are resentful of that which challenges our values. Okay, that's your first piece of gold. If you're taking notes, write that down. That's going to become super valuable information for you, particularly on day 4, when I show you what to do with that information. Okay, now, when I originally did my training with Dr. Demartini, that was pretty much where that stopped, in terms of, what challenges us, what infatuates us, what kind of drives our behaviors. But I've since come to learn a very valuable piece, because I always felt that there was something missing. So, I love this stuff. I go searching because I want to know more. And belief systems come into this in a massive way. So for even those people that have worked with me before, this is all new stuff. We haven't done this before. So our belief systems plug into this as well, because we have a set of belief systems. Our operating systems are essentially laid out before the age of 6. If you look at a child between the age of 0 and between the age of 6, their brain waves are really, really slow. Okay, they're oscillating incredibly slow at the same speed. I've got a brand new laptop, so usually I've got my diagram, and I've forgotten to pop it on this one, but I'll see if I can get it for tomorrow off my old one, if I even know where my old laptop's gone. But essentially, your brain waves are oscillating between 0 and 6 really slow. If I was a trained hypnotherapist and I was putting you under right now, that's where I'd be taking your brainwaves. I'd be taking them to where they're oscillating very slowly, where you're in almost like a trance. And the reason is because you're very suggestible. Okay. If you've got a skilled hypnotherapist, they can drop you into that state, and you're very suggestible. And whatever they suggest in that moment, okay, if it's a match for you, and if you've given them permission, you will take that on to be part of your truth. I've watched people, if anyone's ever done hypnosis for smoking, I've seen people come out of sessions 60, heavy smokers, and after 60 minutes, bang, they don't smoke anymore. Now, I'm not sure about you, but if I was looking for a hypnotherapist, I can guarantee I would not be choosing my mum and dad. Okay. especially the household I grew up in. You know, I'm one of 5 kids. You know, things were pretty chaotic in my household. I would not be choosing basically any one of my family members at that time. But essentially, that's what we've all done. Okay. Essentially, you've chosen, like, whoever raised you, they're the people that hypnotized you. Okay. So I just want you to go, okay, well, that kind of makes sense now. Maybe, you know, maybe some of this crazy stuff that I'm doing isn't my fault. Okay. And it's not your fault, but at the same time, it is your responsibility to do something about it. We're all adults. The time to blame our parents is finished. Okay. It's time for us to accept that this is what's going on, and for us to, you know, be empowered, go, okay, this is what I'm dealing with, and for us to move forward. Okay. Now I'm just going to quickly, close my curtain because the sunlight is starting to distort my screen. I can't see what's going on as well. So I wasn't accounting for this 6 a.m. start. Thanks, just so that I can see what's going on, and so it doesn't distort the recording. Okay, so essentially that's what we've done. And that comes down to our belief systems. Now, belief systems can be as simple as, you know, like, say, for example, you're in the, you know, we've all had that experience being a little kid in the, you know, or we've seen it in the shopping trolley with mum. She's going through the shops and you see little kids and they're pulling things off the shelves and mum's saying, no, put that back. No, you can't have that. And all of a sudden that kid's getting that message of, oh, I wanted that, because a kid's, you know, a 2 or 3 year old, their automatic reaction is to grab for what they want. And then they get told, no, you can't have what you want. Okay. They don't know how to fill in the pieces. Okay. They just fill them in. And that's the thing about the human mind, is if you've got a couple of bits of information, okay, we love completion. Okay. Gestalt theory. We love completion. We love things to feel complete. Okay. You know, soap operas know this. Even, you know, like those sort of, you know, what are those shows like, you know, Today Tonight and that, when you see ads on TV, like they know that you want completion. So they give you the hook, and then you want to go, because even if it's of no interest to you, we have this desire to want completion. Okay. So you will take pieces of information and then you'll just fill them in with whatever story makes that complete. And then you'll just pop that away. And we've all done that. Okay, we've all done that. So just keep in mind that there's operating systems running in your background that you did not necessarily put there or want there, but they're there. Okay, it's time now to acknowledge that those operating systems are there. They're not going away. And so we are fundamentally, in any given moment, when we're operating from our belief systems are very unconscious and very automatic. Okay, they are very, very automatic. They will happen like that. Now, essentially, our belief systems are there to protect us. Okay, our brain is designed to operate on the theory of everything is guilty until proven innocent. Okay, everything is guilty until proven innocent. That's how your brain operates. Okay, and it's good. It's meant to work that way, because, like, for example, if you step out on the road and there's a bus coming for you, you don't want to be like analyzing it and thinking, okay, is it, you know, like, is this bus going to hit me? You just want to get out of the way. Okay. If the bus was going to stop like right in front of you, like there's a bus stop right there, and it was actually, you know, just late on putting the anchors on, that's fine. But your brain operates on guilty until proven innocent. Okay, so keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Now, oh, hey, Kat, lovely to see you. Really nice to see you. So that's just something to be aware of. It's not going to go away. So over the years, here's my confession. I've done so much work on looking at belief systems, pinpointing belief systems. I really feel like I've nailed that part. But I've also studied many different modalities of transforming and changing belief systems. Okay. I've even worked with some of you here on those modalities. And now is the time for me to, you know, just say, hey, we've got new information now. you're never going to overcome your belief systems. Like, they are so ingrained in you. It's actually time to transcend them. Okay, it's time for you to go, oh, hang on, this is a belief system that's playing out. And to just recognize that when your belief systems are trying to resolve themselves, okay, when your belief systems are trying to resolve themselves, it feels uncomfortable when you don't naturally just step in and try to fix it on behalf of yourself. It feels uncomfortable. And this is where the creative tension comes in. So I'm going to give you, we're going to just run through an exercise quickly on how I can, and I'll show you, how our belief system. So essentially our beliefs trigger our thoughts, and our thoughts trigger our feelings, and then our feelings trigger our behaviors. So it goes beliefs, thoughts, feelings, and then behaviors. Okay, so if you're looking to change and make significant change within your life, we need to start making the intervention somewhere in between beliefs and thoughts. And thoughts is basically perceptions. Somewhere between beliefs and perceptions is where the magic happens. Now, one of my biggest criticisms of modern psychology, and when I'm sitting there and with everything that I've learned, and, God, I love talking about CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. And I just sit there and think, what about the perception? What about the perception that's driving this in the first place? Okay. Because essentially, by the time you get to the behaviors, the change has already happened. Like you've already gone through that 4-step process. Okay. But if you're trying to change the behavior, you're going to really come up against a massive amount of resistance. Okay. If you're trying to, by will, change your behavior, you're going to feel like a failure. You're going to beat yourself up. Why can't I do this? If anyone's ever had come on, we're in February, be honest. Who decided, come January 1st that they were going to go on a health kick? And who hasn't seen that through in quite the way that they wanted to? That's the typical one, because we're so focused on the behaviors. We're focused on the behaviors, where this program here, we're going to focus on the beliefs and the perceptions. Okay. And they're the first 2 steps in that. The feelings, which drive the behaviors, that's the second 2 parts of it. Does that make sense? Are you all starting to see now why maybe some of those new News resolutions, that maybe why they didn't work out for you? Because we're too often, when we're focused on our goals, when we write down our goals, we're too focused on the feelings and the behaviors, and even the feelings. There's plenty out there in the personal development world about, affirmations and just getting the feeling of the end result. And while these things are valuable, they certainly do have their place, them in isolation is certainly not going to be the driving force that's going to get you where you want to go. If you're doing visualization of the end result and just focusing on the feelings, there's other steps. There's other steps in there. Okay. I hope to fill some of those gaps for you. If you've ever been in that cycle, I'm really hoping that we fill some of those gaps for you over the next couple of days. I do believe that we will. And if we don't, ask me some questions, find out why that hasn't worked. Okay. So, for those that are, I just was going to do, this was an exercise that I did in a course that I did back in January, and it was a course that we did online, and it was looking at how we can manipulate our beliefs, our beliefs and our perceptions quite easily. We are so suggestible. And also the other thing as well is that part of your belief systems is also being aware of your language. Okay, being aware of your language as well, of what it is that you're telling yourself, because your voice is the predominant voice that your subconscious hears. Now, your subconscious, as I mentioned, works off guilty until proven innocent. But it also, keep in mind that your voice is the voice that it's hearing the most. Okay, when you were a little kid, before you could talk, it was your parents' voice. That was the voice that it was hearing all the time. Okay. So many of your beliefs and the way that if you have a look at your beliefs around money, ask yourself, so do you know what, my notes for day 2 have completely disappeared off my screen. So I'm sort of like doing this by rote, but there was an exercise that I wanted you guys to do, which let me just see if I can find. Oh, in any case, I'll write the challenge up. I'll write the challenge up at the end of today. Apologies, I'm not usually this disorganized. I usually have it all up the night before. But it's a bit different because obviously we're all in isolation. So you know, Phil was saying yesterday, what would you normally do if I wasn't here? I said I'd have a nanny. Like, you know, I have a nanny here to like look after the kids. He was like, oh, okay, yeah, of course I get it. Okay, so when it comes to beliefs, what I want you to do is put your camera on if you can. Okay, put your camera on if you can. And then I just want you to choose. Now, you don't need to tell this person, we're not going to ask for a share or anything like that. I just want you to choose somebody in the room. And if you're watching this on the replay, just choose anyone. You can choose me, it doesn't really matter. Just choose somebody in the room. And if you're able to, put them on your screen or pin them so that that's the voice that you're hearing. Okay, you do that by, in the top right of your screen, there should be like 3 little dots. You just click on that and you scroll down and it will just say pin. Can everyone see how to do that? Or is everyone? Yep. Okay. So just in your, if you choose somebody on the top, like if you just choose somebody and in their square, there will be a little box in the top right-hand side that's got a little blue box with 3 dots. Click on that and just choose pin and just pin somebody. It doesn't matter who it is. Or if you can't work out how to do it, that's fine. Just focus on somebody. Can we all do that? Don't unmute yourself, like so that, because I think sometimes some people speak as the person who's unmuted pops up. Okay, so have you all got somebody that you've locked onto? Okay, awesome. So this is just an exercise where I'm going to demonstrate. Now, I want you just to drop all preconceived ideas and beliefs that you have about you and this person. Okay, I just want you to be open to a new experience here. Drop into just being open to a totally new experience. And I'm just going to share some things about these people. And obviously we know that they're not true, but I want you just to, for this moment, suspend all of your beliefs and just be in the moment as if what I'm saying is absolute truth. Okay, can we all do that for a few moments? Be in the experience. Okay, don't try to fight me on this one. Okay, so that person in front of you, they are one of the kindest people that you will ever meet. That person that is sitting in front of you, you know, they're really, really humble. They don't like to share this about themselves, but, you know, they are just unbelievably kind. They donate so much of their time to charity. You know, they go around to soup kitchens and, you know, really do so much for other people. You know, they, you know, really invest into homeless people, you know, giving to people that, you know, are in need. They are just incredibly generous. They are that person that you could pick up the phone at 3 in the morning and they would be there for you. Unbelievably kind and humble, but you wouldn't know it. Okay, just scrap that for a moment because that actually wasn't true. They give that perception away about themselves, but behind the scenes, they're actually doing it for their own personal gain. They say that they're, you know, that they're helping the needy, but you watch them and they're popping it on their Instagram reel and they are flashing it all over the place and they're just doing it because there's actually a secret gain for them. And what they give, it actually comes from, you know, quite a horrible, greedy place. You know, they're actually doing it because they see that there's something in it for themselves, you know, and then these poor homeless people get slapped all over their Instagram. You know, it's actually, you know, it's one of those things that kind of just feels a bit yucky when you see it from the other side. And that's what they're actually doing. But actually scrap that, just wipe that out for a moment. that person that's in front of you, they you wouldn't know it, but they've recently just gone through a really hard time. You know, they've actually just gone through a really hard time. You know, things aren't going so well for them. They've lost all their money financially. Bank accounts got completely wiped out, lost their job, went bankrupt. But, you know, little Aussie battlers, here they are showing up, just trying to put in some effort, you know, trying to make a go of things, trying to make a new start. Just wipe that out. That's not entirely true. They are super, super wealthy. I mean, you wouldn't know it to look at them right now, but they are one of these billionaires that just walks around in just, you know, casual clothes, you know, has all these, you know, businesses in the background. You know, here they are. I mean, you know, they try to appear humble, but, you know, I mean, like, you should see this person's yacht. It's amazing, like incredible. You know, this person has so much money, and I mean, and they don't mind, they're quite generous. They don't mind sharing it with other people. Okay, so pause there, unpin your person, that's the exercise. But as I was speaking, did you see how your perception of that person started to change? You were actually, if you were able to be in the story, did you see how you were able to ebb and flow and to be in that moment? Did everyone have that experience of whoever? It doesn't matter who you chose. Okay, I'll just open this up because I'm interested. Who would like to share their experience of what just happened for them then? Come on, someone has to. This is the first time I've done this exercise.
I will.
I need feedback. Hey, Glenys, how are you?
Oh, good. I felt that they were human, that there were many sides to them, and that's basically what we're all like, that, you know.
Beautiful.
So, yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Were you able to sort of like follow the story and take them to a good place and then a dark place? And, you know, were you able to be in that story, or?
I sort of did, but then I just thought it's too confusing. I'm just going to be with this person.
Ah, beautiful. Okay, perfect.
So, and I guess, yeah.
That's lovely. That's lovely. Okay, awesome. Anyone else got to share on that one? What was your experience? Alex, you've unmuted yourself. So
yeah, post the conversation, I was thinking, this is the bloody media. Like, you wouldn't know it. Like, it's the media. It's like, one moment you think this person is a lecherous tool. The other one, next time you think it's, oh my goodness, this is this person's a saint, etc. Next moment it's like, oh my goodness, it's a manipulation. Especially when you became invested in that person and you were truly trying, as Glenys mentioned, really trying to concentrate on them. It was really quite a, what is going on here? But okay, let's stick with them, and, you know, they're a decent person. So yeah, it was an interesting exercise.
Okay, beautiful. Anyone else? Anyone else got any observations?
Me.
Kat, what have you got?
Hi. I wasn't 100% sure if they were meant to be completely separate, or if they were different aspects of the same person.
It was
Either or.
Yeah, it was just a person, and I'm just telling different stories about them. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There's no right or wrong, Kat.
No, I was just wondering. Well, I was wondering if there was some intention around that with the exercise, and I could definitely take myself and, you know, be with those different aspects of that person. But at the same time, I thought it was quick turnaround. Do you know what I mean? It was like this. And it's like all the way this way, and then it's like all the way this way. So I don't know, maybe.
And that's often what our mind does, by the way. Our mind does a very quick turnaround.
Doesn't it though? I found the first one particularly good. Like,
yeah,
the person who's so completely generous, and it's just like everyone wants to, like, they wish they could have that level of kindness, and, you know, and then actually they're doing it for really selfish reasons. I think I've seen that before. That was very relatable.
Okay. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Awesome. Is there anyone else have an experience of that? Did anyone, I'm just out of curiosity, did anyone have their face, did their face change? Did you see their faces looking different when they were kind versus when they were mean? Yeah, okay, cool. So look, the purpose of this exercise was really for you to see how easily manipulated your beliefs are. Okay, your beliefs and your thoughts and your feelings. I mean, obviously you knew that I was manipulating them. I was pretty upfront, but they're not real. You know, they're based, you know, your emotional state and your thoughts and your feelings and your beliefs can be, you know, they're very, very fluid. Okay, so if you can just suspend them, your belief systems are not based in reality. Okay, that's the big takeaway that I would love you all to get for today, is that your belief systems are not based in reality. Okay, they're based in pre-programs from when you're a kid. And they are based in your ego simply trying to resolve itself. Okay. Jules, you just shook your head. Do you want me to repeat that? Here, I'm just unmute you. Yeah. Oh, I can't unmute you. You'll have to unmute yourself.
Oh, yeah, they're still running us because it's always there in the background, and you always go back to that because that's what you're programmed to do, and it's a battle.
Yeah, well, the thing is though that yeah, they're not going to go away, but they are going to. We're going to, like, at the moment, basically the animal nature is running the show. Okay, that's really what's going on for the majority of people. The animal nature is running the show. That seeking support, avoiding challenge. That is what's running that, you know, like that animal nature of, I have to have, you know, my beliefs are right, and they, you know, like I have to, you know, protect them no matter what, even if it means sacrificing my soul's purpose. I'm going to let that belief system play out. That's what's going on for most people. Like, you're absolutely right. But there's once we kind of get this level of awareness of what's actually going on and what's running the show, you can catch yourself out. I'll share a little bit of if we've got time. We're running out of time. Okay, I'm just going to quickly go into what today's challenge is. So for today's challenge, what we're going to, tomorrow we're going to be looking at your goals, but for today, what I would like you to do is, I just want, hang on, what was today's challenge? I'm just going to have a quick look through. Sorry, apologies everyone. You've all been so patient with me. While I'm just looking for this, I'm just going to share a story, because on Sunday night, as you all know, like I came down with a fever on Friday night, and I tested for COVID, and I can tell you, I was out for a good 24 hours. And then it was like somebody had literally taken the batteries out of me. I was just going, oh my God, like I'm so unbelievably tired. And Sunday night, when I posted the thing up, changing the start time, I was lying there going, you know, this is the internal conversation. Donna, you have to change this. You know, you have to be on your A game. You can't run a challenge. You know, people are showing up, they're investing their time. You know, you can't run a challenge when you've been sick, you haven't been up in your office all weekend doing like the last minute prep. Like, there was all these things. And I went, hang on a sec, stop. Is this true? Or have I put a set of conditions? Have I put a set of conditions in place of how things need to be before this challenge can work out the way that I intend it to? And I went, yeah, I have. This is such bullshit. I mean, none of that's true. None of that's true. So so this was Kat, this might answer your comment, you know, when we were bantering on Facebook about the process and the end result, because that was, in that moment, I was very much in the process. The process is, I've got to get, you know, I have to spend like 3 more hours in my office, you know, get it. Because by the way, there was a workbook for this program, right? And it's still sitting on my computer. I haven't even had a chance to upload it, because yesterday after I got off here, I went straight to bed. So it was like this was all just conditions. This was process. I was so in the process of this is how the process has to be. And in that moment, I went, hang on a sec, belief, that's my belief system, like coming into play. This is not true. You don't have to be feeling on top of the world to deliver amazing content. Like, you know your stuff. You just have to have the end result in mind and just trust that things will work out the way that they're meant to. You know, put it this way, if it was my very first time running it, I probably wouldn't have done that. That might have been a little bit different, but I've done this enough times. So rather than getting caught up in these are the conditions that I need to fulfill, I got caught up in this is going to be awesome. Let's make it happen. Because people have scheduled their time. I've scheduled my time. Okay. So that's the difference between getting, that is an example of recognizing our beliefs when they're trying to overrun the show. Because that was really the animal mind of, everything has to be perfect for you to do. Any closet perfectionists here?
No.
That's okay, Kat. I was talking to the others.
Can I add something in though?
Yeah, of course you can.
Which was about that comment that I made, and I think it's come because I come from a very artistic background, not me personally, but my upbringing.
Yeah. Yes.
So a lot of it is about, you have an end result in mind. It's actually not about being perfectionist about the process and the bits and pieces in between to make it happen, but it's actually about have a goal in mind and trust in the process, which is exactly what you've done.
Yeah.
It's not about being a perfectionist about the process. It's actually seeing what unravels in the process and being relaxed about that and allowing that to happen. So there's so much beauty and so many little secret hidden gifts if you don't get like in your head about it and you allow that to happen. And this could be your best yet, as a result of letting that go and going, okay, I've got that in mind. Let's do it. It's creative and it's fun and it's playful.
Yeah, that's so true. And if creative people are naturally doing this. Creative people are naturally doing this. But for most people, we were creative when we, as we get older, our creativity gets, sucked out of us a little bit. You only have to look at the school system now. Like I look at my son and he's in grade 1, for goodness sake. And the amount of creativity that isn't in the curriculum is astounding, is absolutely astounding because our creative process. So there's 2 parts to this, is being in the creative process, but also being really clear on what the end result is, being really clear on the end in mind and being able to hold that throughout your creative process. For example, when a little kid's got, or an artist is creating, sometimes it's just creating for the sake of creating. Whereas this time we're doing this with a little bit more direction and a structure. We're doing this with a structure. And both have their place. Okay, so here we go. I do have my notes. Before we look at what beliefs are getting in the way for you, okay, we're going to take a look at your goals. So once you know where you're heading, it's much easier to look at the beliefs that are stopping the momentum for you, okay? There we go. My story was a perfect example of that because I knew where I was going. I knew what I wanted to create. I didn't get caught up in the process. We just kept the end result. Okay, so today's challenge is a lovely one. You might be somebody that writes your goals down. You might not be. You know what your values are. So that's the first step. If you haven't done your values, by the way, post your values up into the group. Let everyone, see what you've got. It'll just assist people. I know Narelle last night was messaging me saying, have you got an example? And I said, no, I haven't got an example. And usually people post them up by now. So I'm not sure what's going on.
You have to fill out every single box.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, you do. Fill out every single box. Now, don't beat yourself up. If you haven't done that homework, that's okay. Try and do it. It's a really good one to do. If you're finding it really hard to see what your life is currently demonstrating, that's a really good indication that, that kind of gives us a bit of a, you know, flag as to this is an area that does need some attention, because if the answers don't just flow really quickly and naturally, then it's really good to have a look at that, have a look at those values. But yeah, today's challenge is write down what are 3 goals. Okay. I'll let you put timeframes on them. I'm not going to put timeframes on them for you. Just write down your 3 top goals, things that you're looking to achieve, that you're working towards right now. Put them down on paper. It's called spelling for a reason, because you're casting a spell. Okay, it really is. Handwrite them if you can. I find that's often really nice. Or whatever your journal, just write down your 3 top goals. So you're just writing down your end result. That's it for today's challenge, because tomorrow, tomorrow is when we get into powerful alignment, and this is when we start to check off our beliefs and values are congruent. Are we, are our goals, we check off the 3 fantasies, okay, and we take a look and we start to really get into pulling this all together, okay? So nice, easy challenge for today. Gives you a chance to look into.
Do you elaborate on the goals? Like, can you write a few sentences, or should it just be short and sweet?
Of course. No, you can get as detailed as you like. There's no right or wrong. With your goal, just get into the end result. What do you want your end result to be? And it can be short, sharp, and concise, or you can elaborate on that. I'm not putting any restrictions on that. These are your goals. Okay. Because the combination of having your goals, or your goals and your values and your beliefs, having these all in alignment so that they're working towards you, is, it's like upgrading your software. Okay, the hardware is already in place. Okay, but we're upgrading the software. Okay, the hardware ain't going anywhere. We're not changing that. But it's no different to when you've got an iPhone and it starts crashing. What's the first thing that you do after you've turned it on and off? You go through and you update your settings, right? And then it just starts working again. You don't sit there and go, stupid phone, you always get this wrong. You are so dumb. Why can everyone else achieve this and you can't? You don't do that, because you know that that's futile. You know that that's completely pointless. You just do what's required. You upgrade the systems and you get on with things. Okay, so just look at this as your system upgrade. We're reinstalling your software. And from this point, after this week, watching you achieve absolutely amazing and wonderful things. Okay. So thank you everyone for being here. That concludes day 2, which was beliefs. Before we finish up the call, I'm just going to open up the lines. Any shares from today, any light bulb moments, or any questions? Who's got something for me? Who's got something that landed?
I think what Kat's comment was, have a goal in mind and then trust in the process. I think that was the line that rang true for me.
Yeah, beautiful.
I was going to say, I suppose it's like you're in a boat and you just let go of the oars and you just go with the flow.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you're trusting. You're not trying to fight upstream. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Anyone else got any insights? Anything that landed with them from today?
That whole completion thing was so true, because or sometimes I always watch my husband and he's like, I just like to achieve. I like to achieve. And we all like a happy ending. I feel like I'm just always chasing a happy ending.
Well, the thing is that this is about chasing a satisfying and fulfilling ending. Okay, a satisfying and fulfilling ending. And the thing is also that whatever you're doing right now, particularly if you're somebody that's already got some goals and things that you're working towards, you may have even noticed within yourself that sometimes we're so focused on the conditions that we think need to be in place, and we get caught up in busy work. Whereas this actually allows you to allow that to drop away and to just focus. So you're not focused on the doing, but there's still action to take. So you're not caught up in the, oh, I've got to do this and do that and do that, but there's still action to take. Okay. So it doesn't mean that, you know, like, I mean, that's probably one of the, remember back in the days when The Secret came out and they were like, you just got to visualize the end result. And I know that was my first introduction to John DeMartini, was in that movie. And I remember later when I went on to do so much work with him, and him just saying, he goes, they took about 12 hours of interview for my, 10 minutes that I was in the movie. He said, but they cut out the most important part, was that there's still action to take. You can't just meditate on $1 million and just, expect someone's going to drop it in your letterbox. You've still got to take action. That was his biggest thing, that there is always action to take, but it's about spending less time in creating the conditions that we think need to exist in order for this to become possible, because that's where we often get busy and get bogged under. Okay, so so there's a big difference in that. So thanks so much everyone for being here for day 2. Today's challenge, I will post nice and easy your goals, but I'll post that up into the group anyway. And thank you so much for being here bright and early, everyone. And I do hope that you can make tomorrow's call. This is where we really start to pull it all together. So thanks for being here. Okay, take care. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Donna.
Thanks, you're welcome.